Red Arnold says, hello David, do you think the iMac Pro should have a touch display and or Apple Pencil support? Is this a deal breaker? And then we have similar questions from Kazina Sifamed, Tom Martin, and Itorjus. Why can't people have simple names? And they say, how do you feel about the new iMac Pro? Are you disappointed the iMac Pro doesn't have a touchscreen? And finally, do you think that if it's a big deal for you, the lack of upgradability on the iMac Pro? Whew, grammar check, buddy. Grammar check. But yeah, regardless, great questions. We also have a question from Anthony Menegoni. For some reason, it's grayed out. Anthony, I'm just assuming you're going to ask me whether or not I'm buying the iMac Pro. Carter Owen also says, how do you feel about the iMac Pro? Taco Bell Becky, what up? What are your thoughts on the iMac Pro? And Mr. Sean, hey David, I'm assuming you will be ordering the iMac soon. That is incorrect, sir. Unfortunately. Allow me to explain. The iMac Pro. It's quite a beast, I'll give it that. It's definitely quite a beast. So, where do I begin? Well, first of all, let me begin by saying this. Hello guys, how are you? David DeFranco here from defrancouniversity.com/forum. And that's exactly where all of today's questions came from, because I basically said in my WWDC 2017 recap video, if you want a shout out, just ask the question, what do I think about the iMac Pro? And well, you're pretty much guaranteed a shout out, and that's exactly what just happened. Okay, so my recap video, I enjoyed making that to an extent. I mean, I just wasn't myself that day. I was sick. I still am sick today, hence why I'm just not completely feeling it. But I do want to get this done today because I feel it's a very important topic. The iMac Pro. Alright, here we go, guys. I have no notes in front of me. I'm just gonna talk about my honest feelings in regards to the iMac Pro, what I like about it, and what I dislike about it. Now, first of all, what I like about it. This thing is an absolute beast. I'm actually surprised Apple even officially unveiled the iMac Pro this early in the game. I mean, what? It's not coming out until December? They could have easily had another event, maybe around October, you know, after all the iPhone madness is over with. But no, they did it this week. The iMac Pro is officially unveiled. I mean, yes, it may not be releasing until December, but I think this is probably, maybe, possibly Apple's way of saying, guys, we still care about the professional market. And you know what? I've been saying that since the beginning. Okay, so you can't blame Apple for mostly focusing on iOS in recent years. It's what makes them money. I mean, without the iPhone and the iPad, Apple would be a dramatically different company today. But just because they put so much time and attention into things like the iPad, that doesn't mean they don't care about the Mac. I never doubted that for one bit. I mean, yeah, the Mac Pro went years without an update, and there's really no excuse for that. Believe me, I'm not defending Apple in that regard. I'm just saying Apple has a lot on their plate, so I can't even imagine what goes on behind the scenes when trying to balance iOS with macOS, watchOS, tvOS. There's a lot to do at Apple HQ. So yeah, I mean, the fact that they even gave us news on the iMac Pro this early in the game, I give them props for that. I do. I may sound like a fanboy, but hey, that's just me being me. I love Apple. So yeah, I am really glad they announced the iMac Pro this early in the game. It just looks like an absolute beast of a computer. It's basically a Mac Pro on steroids with a built-in display. And that's exactly why it starts at $5,000. That is a lot of money, guys. $5,000. That's a lot of money for a starting point of any computer. And yes, I fully realize $5,000 is probably a deal compared to the Windows side of things. But don't forget, when you're building a Windows computer, you're getting Windows. You're not getting that Mac OS experience. And I can't expect Windows users to understand why I make such a big deal out of that. But guys, I used to be a Windows user, and I can say with 100% confidence, Mac OS is so much more reliable than Windows. The software side of things just has a more premium vibe going on. Yes, you can't really game on a Mac, which, yes, you can. If anyone tells you otherwise, they're dumb. But yeah, I don't own a Mac to play video games. I own a Mac to create content, which is what I'm doing right now. So anyway, getting back on track. $5,000, yeah, a lot of money. And that's way, way, way out of my budget. So yeah, price point, that kind of sucks. But that doesn't even matter to me right now because my biggest disappointment with the iMac Pro is the fact that it's just that. It's an iMac souped up with some killer specs. There's nothing pro about it besides specs. I mean, there's no real reason to get the iMac Pro when Apple just updated the regular iMac right now. And as far as I'm concerned, that can handle things like VR just fine. They make that very clear with macOS High Sierra, the new iMac's specs, all that together can create a high quality, high frame rate, media rich experience. No matter what you're doing, whether it's VR, video editing, photography, Photoshop, whatever. The new iMacs, regardless of the iMac Pro, are insane on their own. So don't let the whole iMac Pro thing distract you. There's no reason why you cannot get some real professional work done on a regular iMac. The main reason I'm so disappointed with the fact that the iMac Pro is just an iMac with Pro specs is that I don't see any innovation in the design, especially when compared to the Surface Studio from Microsoft. The Surface Studio, while I have yet to use one, blows my mind. I was just watching videos today from Roberto Blake. What up, Roberto? How are you? He's a great content creator. Actually, I'll link him right below. Check him out. Cool guy. And I was watching his video about the Surface Studio, and I just happened to get there. I don't know how, just in the sidebar or whatever. And I was watching, and I'm like, damn, why can't Apple do something like this? Why can't they just completely copy Microsoft? And yes, there's nothing wrong with Apple copying Microsoft, Microsoft copying Apple, Google copying Samsung, Samsung copying Apple, Apple copying Samsung. That's what this industry is about. These companies copy each other all the time. If it wasn't for copying, these companies wouldn't grow, and that's a fact. Anyway, the iMac Pro, in my eyes, is a professional machine, but it's lacking innovation. It's lacking anything truly unique. You can't use the Apple Pencil on it. You can't use any kind of unique accessories on it besides like external GPUs, I believe, which is actually a really, really big deal from a professional standpoint. But when I'm talking about unique accessories, I'm talking about things like the Apple Pencil and Smart Keyboard. And yes, I don't see yourself putting a Smart Keyboard on the iMac Pro. But that's just the thing. I was hoping the iMac Pro would have some kind of unique interface like this. That's the Smart Connector right there, where it would have devices unique to the iMac Pro and nothing else. I kind of wanted the iMac Pro to be its own creative ecosystem, if you will, but still be compatible with things like the Apple Pencil. But it's not happening right now, and honestly, I'm not really surprised. Apple's kind of a safe playing company when it comes to things like that, so the fact that they kept the iMac Pro simple, hey, it is what it is. Will I be buying one? No. But I will say this, two things real quick, and then I'll let you guys go. Number one, I am very, very excited about my iPad Pro 10.5 inch arriving next Tuesday. That's going to be a lot of fun, especially because, well, it's obviously compatible with my Apple Pencil. So that alone is going to spark my creativity quite a bit. So I'm not completely let down by WWDC. It was actually a solid keynote. Like, it was solid as hell. Just the iMac Pro is not what I wanted. And number two, this is probably the more important one in terms of long-term stuff. The Mac Pro. We cannot forget about the Mac Pro. It's pretty safe to say that Apple has learned their lesson with the late 2013 Mac Pro, which by the way I love. I love my Mac Pro. I use it every day. But I have a really good feeling about the next Mac Pro. I think it's going to be user upgradable, maybe like some swappable GPU of some sort, of swappable SSDs, I don't know. But I just have a good feeling in saying that the next Mac Pro is what the iMac Pro could have been without the screen, if that even makes sense. So I think the iMac Pro is here to hold over professional users until the true professional Mac comes out in the future. And that's another thing. The iMac Pro, as nice as it is still just a 27-inch display. 27 inches isn't that big. Guys, look behind me. That right there is a 31-inch 4K display. And yeah, I realize inches don't always matter because the iMac has a 5K display. But for someone like myself who enjoys large displays, it's just weird. It's very odd that the iMac Pro tops out at 27-inch. I was hoping for at least a 30-inch model. There you go. Those are my thoughts. Like I said, no notes. I'm sure I've repeated myself at least a few times here. And by no means am I hating on the Mac Pro. Again, it's an incredibly impressive looking computer. It just feels like a beefed up iMac. So, did I say Mac Pro or iMac Pro? God, I really hope I said the right thing. Okay, I'm going to edit this video. I'm going to hopefully get some rest as well. And perhaps next week, I'll be back to normal with my iPad Pro unboxing on Tuesday. Stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for your patience with me lately. I promise things will be back to normal very soon. I'll talk to you later. Peace.